Welcome back, 3-day weekend. I'm working on the ACE today. We have torn a front axle boot, and I'm going to try to replace that boot because the only option to replace a front axle on these machines is OEM, and it's $250 or $230. It's expensive. No one else seems to make an aftermarket, so we're going to try to make these last as long as we can. Let's see what we can do. I've already removed the axle from the differential, which is not too big of a deal. You have to take the hub off, axle nut, hub off. Two 15mm caliper bolts come off of there. Then this whole thing pulls out. Then you have the ball joint and a little through bolt holding on the knuckle. And then I took the shock off and the tie rod off and just trying to isolate everything. And then we gave that a bunch of pulls, rotating it, sprayed some PB Blaster in there, and she popped off. And now I have it on the ground. Once I had it on the ground, I cut through this little clamp, and that was around here. And now I've cut this little clamp, and you can see that's where it was all chewed up and torn because we had a shock bolt failure. So now we have the whole thing open. We need to replace this boot. This boot's fine, just this one. We have our, oh man, we have our axle in the vise. I have a piece of wire strung through the end, tied around the vise because when this thing pops off, I don't want it to go flying. I have a brass piece of metal left over from a caliper or something that we're going to use as a punch. I'm just going to hit it with a hammer. There we are. Old one can now come off. There you go, piece of trash. Actually, it wasn't that boot's fault. Suspension failure. Went down and hit it. I'm gonna make sure this little clip survived. It's still in place. That's going to be important later. Just try to keep it clean. I bought a axle boot kit from Niche on the old Amazons. Came with two boots. I'm only going to put the one on. I'm not having any issues with that one. I could always take it apart again later if I needed to. We're going to slide the new bolt, or new boot, up onto the axle. Like so. Kit came with new grease for it, which was nice of them. So we're going to stick that in here. Sound effects help. Oh lordy. Yeah. That should work. Got her back in the vise. Freeze frame. Put your retaining straps on right now. It'll be easier, especially if you don't have ones that'll fully come apart and open up. Just a thought. Back to business. We're just going to try to line this up and tap it down on. There we go. She's seated now. We're going to work this up here. Trying to keep most of the grease inside. Here's one of the straps. This is for the smaller side. I should have put them on earlier, but that's okay. We can open them right up. So I'm going to put it through, send the slot through, tighten it up, wrap her around, and try to get through one more time. There we go. We got it. nice and tight. And you basically just fold it back over itself and pinch it down. We did it. Nice sealed up boot in there. Beautiful. So that's it. We just need to reinstall it back in the machine this way first. They do make a special tool for these straps to pull them a little tighter, which I do not have. So we went with the old-fashioned pull it with pliers and cut it off with side cutters. The kit also came with a new cone washer. Factory, it comes with 2 cone washers versus this one. So I'm going to put the original 2 back on. It also came with a new axle nut, which is too big for my axle. So it probably goes to their aftermarket replacements or something. It did come with a new cotter pin and a couple of new clips, which we're not using those either. So pretty much everything you need, and it was 2 sets of boots and the grease and everything for I think 20 bucks. Not a bad deal. I'll put the link in the description down below. I'm gonna get back to work putting this machine back together to get it back out on the trails. I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every view, every subscriber, you members, Patreon members, everyone there. You guys are amazing. We really appreciate the support. If this video helped you, give me a thumbs up. Costs you nothing, but really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate that too. So that's going to do it for me today, and we hope to see you again here for another video on 3-Day Weekend.